Hi, I'm Bob. This is where we learn how to have more fun playing D&D together, and way back, I made this rash statement about speeding up combat. Now, my number one trick for keeping your combat fast and fun is to roll your attack and damage dice at the same... Okay, bad joke. Rolling attack and damage dice together, using average monster damage instead of rolling, and every alternative initiative method I've ever heard, even getting rid of initiative, are common tricks for speeding up the game, but in my experience, none of them make much of a difference. But now I'm older, wiser, my hair is longer, and I've really put those tricks to the test, and I gotta say, I was wrong. Well, not about the dice rolling part. I'm still convinced that unless you have a big, brand new group all playing high-level paladins, then rolling attack and damage together literally only saves you like 1 minute per every half hour of combat. So yeah, I was wrong in saying that dropping initiative altogether, or using alternative initiative methods cannot speed up your combat in Dungeons & Dragons. Because I have now tried a bunch of methods, and I'm pretty sure I've whittled down initiative to a simple technique that is easy to remember, easy to use, and easy to adjust for different sizes of groups. So I'm going to walk through the best and worst parts of the most popular ways to run initiative, then share my solution with a couple tweaks so you can find what works best for you. The goal of initiative is to track turn order, just like any board game. We only use initiative in combat because most of the role-playing in D&D doesn't involve that many rules. Combat is where the bulk of D&D's actual mechanics come into play. So initiative is designed to maintain order, lest your combat be controlled by the loudest, fastest-talking player. Furthermore, initiative order is important because many spell effects and conditions end at the start or at the end of a creature's next turn. So dropping initiative altogether or re-rolling it each round forces you to rethink all of those effects. But my main problem with initiative as written is that you essentially have to pause the game at the start of each combat to set the stage. This has always bothered me because just as you're getting into the excitement, you have to wait for everyone to roll, for the DM to organize turn order, and often for the first player to decide what the heck they're doing. Just the act of having everyone roll makes it feel like we're suddenly playing a different game, and keeping that order organized has literally become a joke, with the fact that people, like me, have literally built things or bought things to track initiative order. That is a huge red flag that initiative is way more complicated than it needs to be. So, the no initiative concept popularized by one of my favorite D&D tubers, Professor DM of Dungeon Craft, is really an attractive idea. Essentially, the group quickly devises a plan, everyone rolls dice together, then the DM resolves all actions at once with a narrative description. It better follows D&D's core mechanic of scene, interaction, resolution, but it still involves pausing the game for everyone to discuss and agree upon a group plan. And you, the DM, has to retain all those player actions and all the monster actions to properly describe each round, which, for me, makes it a little too much to handle. However, using no initiative by simply going around the table, like every board game you've ever played, fixes a lot of these problems. Tons of games rely on this turn order because it's intuitive for new and experienced players of all ages. Everyone can easily recognize who's up next, when their turn is coming, and that's why going around the table is actually part of my solution for big groups. The only weird part is having your players change seats after a combat, because going in the same order every time can get a little stale. So, my ideal method for initiative needs to smooth out the transition from roleplay to combat. It needs to be easy to organize and track turns throughout the combat without me needing to memorize a lot of actions. It needs to vary the turn order from one combat to another, and it needs to be adaptable, depending on how many people show up to play D&D. This is a tough order, pun intended, but the method I've been using works, and we can break it down with 2 simple phrases. The early bird gets the worm, and monsters in the middle. The early bird technique is how we grade our exploration and roleplay scene into a combat scene without anyone noticing. Pushing your way through the underbrush, you stumble into a clearing. and immediately lock eyes with a troll that was raising a deer's leg to its open mouth. I fire an arrow. Okay, do it. 17. That hits. Everyone roll initiative as the troll takes the arrow in its shoulder, raises the leg like a club, and begins rushing toward your party. This rewards your quick-thinking players with a kind of surprise round at the start of any battle. For example, since that troll saw the PCs coming, there's no genuine surprise round with advantage, but the quick-thinking PC gets this one free attack before you technically enter initiative. And if the players all hesitated, then the troll would have gotten that one free attack. So the early bird piece of this method is entirely situational, but it always allows one player, or the DM, to roleplay a free attack like they would any other non-combat action to seamlessly move your party into combat. You can use early bird attacks for any size group, and if your group is the right size for actually rolling initiative, which I'm about to define, you can have the players roll and determine their order while you describe the result of that first attack. Alright, point number 2, monsters in the middle. If you only have 1 to 3 players, don't make them roll initiative. Just let them choose an order. You go, then I'll go, then she goes. And the monsters go after all the players. So you're just alternating. Players, monsters, players, monsters. Super simple. If you have a big group, I'm talking 7 or more players, don't make them roll initiative. Just go around the table, or for online games, in order of their images, or alphabetically, or whatever order makes sense for your particular VTT. The monsters go on the DM's turn, and assuming you're using more than one monster, because you should be for 7+ players, have your main monsters go in the middle of your players, so it's half your players, monsters, half your players, monsters. And to switch it up, if you can somehow do more than one combat in a session with that many players, just go the other way around the table. This is easy stuff. And for that sweet spot of 4 to 6 players, you do have them roll initiative. But you never roll for the monsters. Your main monsters will always go on turn 11. And if you have a couple minions in there, have them go on turn 1. On average, this keeps your monsters' turns in the middle. So it's still about half your players, then monsters, then the other half of your players. But here's the added advantage. You should absolutely tell your players that the monsters will go on turn 11. That way, when they roll an 18 or even a 12, it feels like rolling a successful check because they know they get to go before the bad guys. You can even train the group to have those high rollers state their initiative first instead of everyone calling out at once. And on those times when everyone rolls, then a hush falls over the group, and they realize everyone rolled under 11, it creates a funny moment that still raises the tension. So let me know in the comments what you think of the early bird attack and monsters in the middle. Give this video a thumbs up if you like it, and consider subscribing for weekly videos or supporting the channel through Patreon, like David, Edmund, Nicholas, Jonathan, Soul Wizard, Jaden, and Curtis. Thank you all for your support, and keep building.